then Clone Wars comes around. Tell us about this.
Yes. Sorry, my husband just opened the door right as you're asking me the question.
We're doing something.
I know.
We're busy. It's on the calendar.
Is everything good? Oh, my husband wants to watch this.
Oh my gosh.
Tell him to go to GalaxyCon.com and sign up.
Go to GalaxyCon.com and sign up. But I'm going to go back because we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Hi, David.
Welcome, friends and fans and children of all ages, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going back to Disney Town by way of a galaxy far, far away with two amazing guests. So, without further ado, let's wish upon a star and bring them out. Our first guest is an actor, illustrator, and presently the fourth performer in history to provide the voice of Walt Disney's most recognized and beloved characters in video games, animation, and ancillary media. Would please welcome back the voice of Mickey Mouse himself, our friend Bret Iwan.
Hey, how you doing, Patty?
I am well, my friend. How are you?
I am great. I'm happy to be here. This is fun.
So good to have you here. So you were just remarking before that you are in your office slash garage.
Yes, garage is not so glamorous of a term, but this is my office, my art studio, which happens to be at the back of my garage slash workshop. So yeah, that's where I'm hanging out today.
And that was your sort of your project during society's shutdown.
It did. Not unplanned to be during the pandemic, but the timing was perfect because I started it right when everything shut down in March, and I was able to focus on it and get it finished within a couple months. So not bad timing. Not
bad at all. And you didn't miss a step. The powers that be kept you busy this whole time, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The blessing of Mickey is that he never is bored. He always has something to do. And so I was recording from home until studios were safe to open back up again. And now we're back in the studio, still recording Mickey Mouse Funhouse and Roadster Racers and Mixed Up Adventures and all that fun stuff. So we're back at work.
May we all get back to work.
Yes, for sure.
Indeed. Well, like I said, you're doing good, and good is the new amazing in these interesting times.
That's right. Well, it's all about keeping a positive attitude, right? It's perspective. So,
and that's one thing I've always admired about. And speaking of positive attitudes, our next guest is an actress and an apparel entrepreneur whose credits include That's So Raven, Ultimate Spider-Man, and author of the book It's Your Universe. You have the power to make it happen. Among Star Wars fandom, she is beloved as the originator and the voice of Ashoka Tano in Clone Wars, Rebels, and more. Please welcome back Ashley Eckstein.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Bret. How's it going?
Hi, Ashley.
Good. How have you been?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm thrilled to be here tonight.
Oh, indeed. Good to have you back. All of our mutual friends from your days and the Orlando attractions areas have all said, oh, tell her I said hi. Tell her I said hi. So I'm just going to say everybody says hi.
Oh, thank you. I know we have several mutual friends, and I love that. Orlando is my hometown, and I mean, truly some of the best people. I am a proud Floridian.
Indeed. So how have you been these past few months since we last saw you, holding up during society's pause, as I like to call it?
You know what? I'm doing great. You know, as you said, good is the new bar, and I'm blessed to say that my family, we're all happy and healthy, and fortunately, we've been able to be together. And I just got back from visiting my sister, you know, safely, and so it's been good. I've been able to catch up with family and friends a lot, so we're all well.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Well, both of you, once again, thank you for joining us here today. As always, we look forward to the day when the world gets a little bit back to normal and we can once again put you back on our physical stages and get you back in front of your fans. But in the meantime, we are thrilled to have you here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage.
It's the next best thing.
Indeed. So the team right now is going through the chat room, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, for our audience members who may not know, I would like to hear how each of you individually, I know these stories, but I would love to hear the audience to hear them again. How did these iconic roles with Disney begin for each of you?
Wow. Who should start? Do I go alphabetical order, Ashley?
I think you should go first because
Okay.
technically I joined the Disney family a little later.
Okay. So for me, let's see. It really starts. I mean, if you want to go way back, it starts with just being a fan. I grew up a huge Disney fan. Visiting Disneyland in Southern California was one of my favorite places to go. I loved all the classic Walt TV shows and all the classic animated shorts and features. And so I kind of just grew up immersed in that world and that culture. And it really influenced my creativity and my aspirations to be a creative and specifically an animator and an illustrator. So, Disney set me on a path very early on. Now, I went to art school, got my first job at Hallmark Greeting Cards, where I started as an illustrator professionally. And after 5 years there, which was, kind of the end goal as far as I was concerned, I was having a great time. I was going to work there. I was going to retire from that job. I got an email which literally changed my life. It was an email outlining the audition process, which was they were working out at the time to find an understudy for Wayne Allwine, who is the third voice of Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm. And my friend who works at Pixar just knew that I was a huge Mickey fan. She knew I did the voice for fun and said, "Hey, you gotta do this. You gotta audition." And so it outlined the process. And not knowing anything about voiceover industry or how things typically were done, I just followed the directions, which were simply to call a number and leave a voicemail. Ironically, one of my directors texted me this week and he had found in their files the saved voicemail from me back on March 19th, 2009, submitting my audition. And I listened to it a couple of days ago, and I got, a little teary eyed, I won't lie, and chills. Like, it's just so weird to think back on that time and then be where I am now. But I auditioned over the phone, I guess. And then the process unfolded a little slowly after that. I was called in eventually for an in-studio audition. I first time in front of a microphone in a sound booth. I got to record my audition as Mickey, going over a few lines, kind of unrehearsed, doing some cold reads. And then sadly, a few months after that, or about a month after that, Wayne Allwine passed away. And it no longer was an understudy position they were looking to fill. They were recasting the voice. Yeah. So I maintained my job at Hallmark, but they decided to start trying me out. It was kind of a trial basis, and I was flying out to LA from Kansas City, and I'd record a few projects, and then I'd fly back and go back to my normal job or my normal life.
And you had to do that under great secrecy, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was never explained to me that I had to operate. It wasn't by any means clandestine, but I knew kind of better at that point to not broadcast it for my artistic career. I was still employed at Hallmark, and I was working full time, and they hadn't officially offered it to me. They were very clear that it was a trial situation. So I just I enjoyed the ride, as I often tell a lot of people who start in the business. I just tried to live in the moment. I tried to think about how exciting it was every project I did, and not expect a whole lot more after that. Well, thankfully, after a couple sessions, they did sit me down and said, we were really happy with what you've done. We'd love for you to be the guy. It will, of course, require you moving out to LA, which I was from LA, so it was not a big deal. I took some time. Long story short, had to leave my Hallmark career, and I made the move to LA. Literally with a suitcase and a dream, because I had no money. I packed everything up. I moved out, and I started fresh with the Mickey gig. But I've never looked back, and I've never regretted it. It's been a wild ride.
Absolutely. During that formative time, when you were flying out and stuff, was there any insight that they gave you that you were unaware of and trying to lock down the character or the voice?
I think the biggest benefit during those sessions was just learning the breadth of work that Mickey had to do. I thought I was a huge fan, and I thought I knew everything, but my world was really limited to TV shows, maybe a few feature shorts, and the theme parks. Yeah. I was completely naive when it came to the amount of toys and the video game franchises and corporate events, and the list goes on. And so, one of my first projects was Disney on Ice, which I never even considered, but that was a huge thing for us. And knock on wood, has continued to be every year. You know, Felda Entertainment does these huge shows with the characters, and so yeah, I think the biggest learning benefit that I had during that time was just kind of being introduced to everything, and with each different project came a different perspective or a different approach, which was really beneficial in kind of tuning those Mickey skills.
Yeah, and again, this is how Disney operates. They're very, very protective of the integrity of all their characters. And perfect case in point about the fact that you are tapped to do little talking doodads and toys and things like that. I remember when Iron Man first came out, before Marvel bought it, the toys were out in the market, and there was a talking Iron Man toy that sounded nothing like Robert Downey Jr. It was literally like, "I am Iron Man." You know, you get the idea that they could grab somebody in accounting and say, just get in the booth and do whatever. So
yeah, it's an interesting business, and you're right. Disney is unique in having that approach where character consistency is so important to them, and the group that I work with most often is called Disney Character Voices, and their sole job is to ensure character integrity across the board, whether that is a toy on the shelf or a feature film, and they do it for all over the world too. They're in charge of casting the sound-alikes in Italy and France and all that. So yeah, it's a very important role. And yeah, people are always surprised. You know, the number one text I get is like, "Hey, I'm in Target. Is this you on a toy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yep, that's me." I, believe it or not, I was willing to go in to record for that Target toy. I was more than happy to go in to record that Target toy. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Ashley, wow, you had been doing some good work, and then Clone Wars comes around. Tell us about this.
Yes. Sorry, my husband just opened the door right as you were asking me the question.
We're doing something.
I know.
We're busy. It's on the calendar.
Is everything good? Oh, my husband wants to watch this.
Oh my gosh.
Tell him to go to GalaxyCon.com and sign up.
Go to GalaxyCon.com and sign up. But I'm going to go back because we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Hi, David.
Brett says hi. See, this is what I love about 2020, and is that this is you know, unscripted, truly unscripted has become the norm, and everyone's gotten to get a peek behind the curtain of everyone's daily lives. And I think it's kind of refreshing to see everyone is a bit scatterbrained. Everyone's actually a bit of a mess. I mean, behind, like literally just like right to my left of this camera is just stacked boxes. Because
I can attest to that. I know. I've seen it.
Brett knows, but my husband and I have been moving a lot, so we're buried in boxes. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, everyone has just kind of taken off the filter per se, and I feel like we're all just living our authentic daily lives.
Oh yeah, my fiance and I's favorite thing to do is when watching newscasts to see the different backgrounds everyone has. And it's funny, there's this very common bookshelf that everyone seems to have. It's like this folding thing, the sides fold. It looks super, you know, I'm sure it's like found at any store. But I'm like, what about this shelf? Did everyone go out and buy this? Like, I need a bookcase behind me. So they bought this shelf and put a few tchotchkes on it to look. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I've got my lovely blank wall.
I am admiring your blank wall.
But okay, so yeah, sorry, Patty, back to your question.
No, that's okay. The agent just said, when a World Series MVP interrupts the stream, it's totally okay.
Wait, he's what? He did what?
It's that sports ball thing, Brett. Remember?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With
I forgot.
Okay. With the stick and the
Yeah.
It's not cricket. It's the other.
Oh.
One. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Got it. I remember now.
But you know, it's ironic because I said, Brett, you go first because technically I joined the Disney family later. But actually, I think I beat you like by many years, Brett.
You did.
I grew up in Orlando, Florida. My dad was a Disney cast member, but I officially became a Disney cast member on my 16th birthday. So it was my dream to work for Disney. And literally, that's all I wanted for my 16th birthday was to become a cast member. So I did. I went and signed up and got a job. And fortunately, I was able to get a job in entertainment. And so back then it was MGM Studios. Now it's Disney's Hollywood Studios. But fortunately, I got to be in entertainment at Disney's Hollywood Studios and then eventually moved to LA, where my dream was not to win an Oscar, but I wanted to be an actress on the Disney Channel. That was literally all I wanted to do because Bret and I bonded truly over our love of the Mickey Mouse Club. Like,
it's right.
Yeah, it was at that moment. Actually, Bret, I think it was at that moment that we really realized like we were meant to be best friends.
I think that's when it officially clicked. Yeah.
Yes.
We're like, okay.
Yeah.
This is safe.
Yes. So I wanted to be an actress on the Disney Channel and eventually moved to LA, and I was fortunate to make that dream come true. And I got to be a recurring character on That's So Raven. And then honestly, at that point, you know, I'd been a lifelong Star Wars fan, but I didn't even know to dream to be in Star Wars because I thought that George Lucas was done making Star Wars. So I didn't even know that it was a possibility. And one day I got a call to audition for the new Star Wars animated project. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, quite frankly, like it was like a roller coaster of emotions because instantly it was such excitement. Like I have to get this role. And then the next second I was crushed because they wanted me to audition for Padme and I sounded nothing like her. But eventually, through, you know, the course of the audition, I was asked to audition for this brand new character that nobody knew about, which ended up becoming Ahsoka Tano. And that was before Disney bought Lucasfilm. And, you know, a couple years later, George Lucas sold Star Wars and Lucasfilm to Disney. And we joined the Disney family, which was just such a dream come true. I mean, Disney is just my passion. You know, Bret and I, obviously, it's a love of ours, and we've been so fortunate to do so much with the Disney company.
Very much so. So, one thing, and yes, I have noticed that you guys are absolute besties, and Disney has put you guys on the road as sort of an ambassador duo, haven't they?
Well, did we do it?
I was going to say we definitely work as an ambassador duo, but that's honestly our own doing. We just took it upon ourselves to, you know, we recognize, like Ashley said, we recognize this shared love, and you know, there's nothing better than having fun with one of your best friends and repping the Disney brand as you do it. So
yeah. Very true. Very true.
And all the credit though goes back to D23 because
that's right.
I like to say that D23 set us up. We had a date. We hosted a video together, and then we got to do some things for Destination D. And from there, we just realized that we have so many shared passions and really a shared way of thinking about how, you know, truly the dreams that you wish can and do come true, but you have to make them happen. And so we were sitting around one day and we were just talking about, I think it was after the D23 Expo, and we did a lot of listing together, and we had so much fun working together, and we were literally devastated that it was over. And so we said, wait a minute, this doesn't have to end. We can just make up our own show and go on tour together. And so that's what we did. We created a show, set a tour schedule, and then COVID happened and didn't get to hit the road.
No, we did everything but hit the road. We're fully prepared. Prepared, but we did not hit the road.
It's on the launching pad and it's still there.
That's right.
And you know, when the clouds part and everything is go, you can push that button.
We're locked and loaded. We're just waiting for the countdown.
Yeah.
And the part I want to step in here and say, the part that Ashley does not share about our friendship originating. That's weird. What am I saying? Is that, you know, very early on, before we had really officially sealed the deal on the friendship thing. We were hanging out in the parks, and she put me into a truck to drive someplace with people that I literally just met.
Mm-hmm.
And on the drive there, she realized she was concerned for me. And so I think that's when it clicked to her, like, oh, I care about this person. We're friends. Because she was worried that I was getting kidnapped, which was the same thing I was worried about. Spoiler alert, I made it to our destination. They did not kidnap me. And so
that's good.
In fairness, they were a lovely couple.
Oh, yes.
But yes, I wouldn't normally put my friends in cars with strangers. But it just lucked out for him that they were lovely people.
Oh, they were great. They were great. And it was a very nice truck.
Hey, did it have
the blindfold they put over me was a little weird, but it was a very nice truck.
That was clean. That was for your protection,
That's what they told me.
Yes, exactly. So, and one other thing that fascinates me about both of you is there's a very interesting dichotomy about your characters. Bret, Mickey Mouse, is an absolute static. This is the way the character is. This is the way it's defined, and he doesn't change. And that's all for very, very good reasons. Conversely, Tano, we saw her as beginning as Snips, and you have carried her through an amazing character arc and an amazing growth through multiple series. And we saw her go from Snips to one of those characters to a fully fleshed veteran warrior with some baggage and a lot of wisdom and a lot of emotion and a lot of character. And that's a credit to you, credit to Filoni, credit to everybody else on your side of the Star Wars equation.
Oh, thank you. Ahsoka Tano is truly a once-in-a-lifetime role. And I have to say, just like many fans, I grew up with Ahsoka. I got to originate the character, and I've been doing the voice of the character since 2006. So I am now 39, but I was in my mid-20s when I started the character, and I was very much a Padawan. And I went through a lot of the same experiences as Ahsoka. So even though Ahsoka is in a galaxy far, far away, I think the reason people love her so much is that the lessons she learns are very relatable. And we can literally relate to everything she's going through and to her emotions, and relate them to what's going on in our own lives. And I've oddly been able to do the same. A lot of what's happened to Ahsoka has even happened to me. And I feel like I've grown up with her. And so as the character progressed, we became closer and closer to the same age. And so it's just been an amazing process. And I do not underestimate, or not underestimate. What's the word I'm looking for? But what I mean is, I relate to her on so many levels, and she's taught me so much. When I say I ask myself, what would Ahsoka do? I mean it, because she inspires a lot of my daily decisions. She's literally a part of my heart and soul, and I think of her constantly.
She's in the hearts and souls of a lot of Star Wars fans. Count myself as one of them. And speaking of fans, we are good to go on our audience questions, so let's switch over to them. And the first one is going to be from Mark, who wants to know, do you enjoy reading? And if so, what is your favorite book? Or maybe one of your favorite books?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying I'm horrible when it comes to favorites. People will always say, what's your favorite movie or what's your favorite music? And I can never pinpoint one, because I like a variety of things. Sure. But yes, I do love reading. I love getting immersed in a good book and kind of going on that like imagination journey. Especially if I love fictional books that kind of like transport you. But yeah, there's nothing better than getting lost in a good book.
Do you have a genre that you might like?
I go through phases. I was reading, political. I was reading The Bully Pulpit not too long ago, and about Teddy Roosevelt and how he really kind of established the presidency as what it is today with this media coverage type thing. that it has access to. But I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter series and the Hunger Games and fantasy like that. So like,
You
I'm
heard it
all
here
over the place.
first. Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse reads Harry Potter. Okay.
Mickey Mouse does read Harry Potter and all kinds of art books. I have way too many books. Most of them are art and film related, but yeah.
Awesome. How about you?
Well, I think it's no secret I am a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. So I draw a lot of inspiration from Alice in Wonderland. I in terms of films, I would choose the classic animated, Walt Disney version, but I do love a good Lewis Carroll quote. So, I would definitely say, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. But yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I'm not the most voracious reader. I'd probably prefer a good script over a book. I'm a bit of a slow reader. But I always love a good book. My husband and I actually read Hunger Games together, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Nice, very nice. Jabberwocky is actually my main audition piece.
Nice.
When I'm going in for voices, every stand gets an entirely different character voice, and that's what got me the Monsters Inc. gig. So
nice.
So I owe that to Lewis Carroll. And Mark, thank you. That was a great question to start us off with. And from Mary and Chaz, do you guys plan on taking your show on the road when cons start back?
Oh, Mary and Chaz, yeah, our bags are packed. We're ready. We're ready. We are ready to go. We're looking forward to that.
Yes. And first of all, I have to say hi, Mary. Hi, Chaz. Mary and Chaz are two very, very good friends. We go way, way back. And yes, as Bret said, we can't wait. Bret, I mean, wouldn't you say, even if nobody shows up, we're gonna take it on the road?
Oh, we'll be there. If cons don't come back, we'll just pull our van into a middle of a parking lot and just kind of start sharing our story. I don't know. That what? Let's cut. Are we recording this or is it live? Let's cut that. We can just go back.
I'm pretty sure you'll have an audience wherever you set up. If you give them
I mean, no, but we are taking it on the road. Like we said, we didn't get our chance to, so we're ready. We're so excited.
Awesome. Well, Mary and Chaz, thank you for stopping by. What do we have next? From Sam Tano. What is your best Christmas memory? Ooh. Or holiday memory. I'll expand it out.
Fair enough. Ashley? Well, I would say my favorite holiday memory ties in with the Disney parks. My dad, as I mentioned, was a Disney cast member, and Disney used to, back in the day, have throw a Christmas party for Disney cast members. So the park was closed, except for Disney cast members and their families. Mm-hmm. And it was such a special moment for my family every single year. That was when we went and visited Santa Claus. That was when, we would watch the electrical light parade down Main Street and drink hot cocoa. And we got to stay up until super late. And as a kid, to be at Disney World at like 11 o'clock at night, like that's a really big deal. We would get churros. I mean, I have so many wonderful memories of, Christmas time on Main Street, USA, with my family. So definitely say those are some of my earliest memories of learning to dream was, Christmas time at Walt Disney World.
The electric parade music is still like the impossible music. It's like it should not be attractive at all, but it's wonderful. I to this day I absolutely love it. That weird moog.
Yeah, so good. It's so good. Well, I'm gonna actually, ironically, or maybe not so ironically, if you've gotten to know Ashley and I at all, my answer is similar, and I will piggyback off of your Main Street USA being a favorite holiday memory for me, Christmas memory, because back in the 80s, Sears came out with this Main Street play set. So it was the town square, and it was just like the town square and like a few buildings on the first block, and then it was this cardboard cutout of the castle at the end. And you could buy little figurines, and they had the horse-drawn carriage and little figures with holding balloons. Anyway, I saw this in the Sears catalog, and I needed it. I needed it so bad. And so I asked Santa for it, and I will never forget the Christmas morning I woke up, and on the way to where we had Christmas, we celebrated Christmas, was in our formal living room, you know, one of those rooms you never went in except for Christmas.
Yeah.
But there was an extra door to the living room off of the hallway, which was right next to my bedroom. And so I snuck a peek on my way to meet the rest of the family before we did Christmas morning. And I opened the door and I saw town square set up on the floor underneath the Christmas tree. And it didn't matter what else was waiting for me. That was it. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite memories. And another one, to go off the Disney thing, is growing up in Southern California. You know, I always asked my parents to drive past the Disney studios just because it's 20 minutes away from where I grew up. I wanted to see it. Well, one year my mom found out that they were opening up the studio lot to the public for a holiday party. And I don't remember the specifics of it, but I do remember it was around the time that the Santa Claus came out, because they had the Santa Claus sleigh on display, and I think you could take pictures. And it's very similar to what they do for Disney employees now on the lot at the holiday time, but it was open to the public for some reason. You know, I just remember walking around, and that was the first time I got to see the actual animation building and the ink and paint building and and Mickey Avenue and all these places that I knew from the Disneyland TV series, but never dreamed I'd actually get to go set foot on. So anyway, I think of that Christmas memory every time I am at the lot, because, you know, fortunately can go visit pretty often now. And it's crazy to think that, you know, about that one of those first visits was at Christmas time, and now I get to have the pleasure of going so often.
Very nice. Very nice. Sam, thank you so much. Great question. If I had a Disney Christmas memory, one Christmas, half the cast is sick, so I ended up doing a triple.
Well, that's
24 shows when normally our matrix was 8. So ka-ching. Anyway,
that keeps on giving, Patty.
Indeed. From Brian. Oh, favorite Disney attraction to ride, and I'll expand that. That can include if it's a show type attraction or something to that effect.
I'm always going to go back to my two favorite quintessential Disney attractions, Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. To me, they're just the epitome of Disney parks storytelling, original stories that you can't find anywhere else. All the Imagineering tricks of the trade were used back in the day, and I love those. And if it's not those two, then it's any Disney railroad, because, as I'm sure more than enough people know already, I'm a huge train fan. So yes, I will sit on that train and take a trip around as often as I can.
Yes, you are. Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite classic ride, I guess I should say, is Big Thunder Mountain. It's kind of a must do every time I go to the parks. But I have to say, of the newer rides, and Star Wars fans, please don't hate me when I say this, because I do love all the rides at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Rise of Resistance, Smuggler's Run, and even Star Tours. But I really love Pandora Flight of Passage. I've always wanted to fly, and I feel like it's the closest thing where you can feel like you're flying. And then I do love Slinky Dog. I love Slinky Dog Dash so much. It just makes me so happy. So yeah, those are my two new favorite rides. Even though I do love Rise of Resistance, but Big Thunder Mountain will always be my favorite classic ride.
I am a staunch defender of Big Thunder Mountain. And whenever somebody says it's kind of, I always ask them this: have you ever ridden it at night? And they always say no. And I'm like, oh yeah, you need to ride it at night. Your opinion will completely change. And then they always get back to me and said, yeah.
It's one of the best.
Wildest ride in the wilderness.
Ashley actually took me on Slinky Dog for the very first time.
Really?
I had never gone on it. I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, "It's a little kiddie ride." No, it's actually pretty cool.
You're
really good
now, aren't you?
I'm a believer now, and also I can't help but think of the last time we were on Flight of Passage, and the kid next to us that was just mortified to go on it. Tears the whole time, and I can't remember what he demanded, but he was like, "You're gonna give me this if I do it." My parents were like, "We waited in line. We're gonna do it, but yes, we will get you that churro." We're just like, "Oh God."
Brian,
sorry, tangent.
Don't worry, Brian. Thank you so much. That was a fun one. What do we have next? And this comes from Mabel, who wants to know, what are your biggest inspirations?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I've got mine. Do you need some time, Ashley?
Yeah, you go first.
I mean, I was gonna say unfortunately, but I don't know if it's unfortunate that one of my biggest inspirations is kind of the easiest one and one that people probably would assume, but it is Walt Disney, and that's not just because of the role I play now. He was always one of my biggest inspirations. You can go back and the record shows it, because in the 3rd and 4th grade, I was doing book reports on Walt Disney, and 5th grade, I did a book report on Walt Disney and dressed up like him and did my own animation. So he's just, yeah, I mean, he really, him and his legacy and what he created, taught me so much about creativity, about passion, but also about hard work and determination and overcoming obstacles. And so, yeah, what he did, and even the more I learned about his personal life, his hobbies and whatnot. I always reference the train thing, but that's something I share with Walt, and that he loved trains. And to me, it just showed that regardless of the success Walt had, or the projects he was working on, he always maintained the ability to just be a little bit childlike, and play with toys. He's playing with miniature trains and using his imagination in that sense. And so, yeah, he's always been a huge inspiration for me. And beyond Walt, so many of the Disney artists, but then just other painters and artists in general, and also, my parents. I have to give a shout out to my parents, because I was very fortunate to have parents who encouraged me to dream, who recognized a lot of my desires at a young age. And they didn't tell me it was silly. They didn't tell me to stop and focus on something more important or common. They just said, go for it. And Ashley and I share this and talk a lot about it, is that we were given the permission to dream, permission to pursue those dreams. And that's, kind of when we do finally hit the road, that's what we're going to talk about, is how, voicing your dreams starts with the permission to do so. And that's what we hope, by sharing our stories, we encourage other people to do.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I will pick up right where Bret left off. My husband and I talk about this a lot, because he obviously had a career in baseball that was so public, and a lot of, actors or athletes, they say, well, I don't want to be a role model. And I will say, whether you want it or not, if you're in the public eye, you are, to an extent, a role model. But I feel that the best role model is somebody that's in your life on a regular basis. And, to pick up where Bret left off, my parents, my mom and my dad, and also my husband, are all inspirations to me. I mean, my parents, taught me that if you can dream it, you can do it, and that through hard work, anything is possible. And they also led by example. They both worked very, very hard. And, that inspired me growing up, that I could make anything happen through hard work. And then, my husband as well, I truly, became a better person after meeting him and having him in my life. And so I feel very fortunate that I can have people in my life like that. But I will say, the fans and everyone watching here and everyone on social media inspire me every single day. It's really overwhelming, because I feel very fortunate to get so many kind comments and DMs and everything every day. And I don't get the chance to get back to people, but I read everyone's stories and read their kind comments, and it truly inspires me every single day. And of course, when we get back out on the road, just getting the chance to meet people in person, I want people to know that when they share their story with me, it sticks with me and I don't forget it. And it is what keeps me going. I mean, when my gas tank is empty, and I read somebody's comment and what Ahsoka means to them, or even just, my book about making your dreams come true, or Bret and I, an appearance we do, that is an inspiration to me personally. So I truly want to thank everyone for all of your kindness, because it truly inspires me.
Awesome.
Amen to that. Ditto.
Mabel, thank you so much. It was a wonderful question. And a reminder to our audience, if you would like to chat with our panelists like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph, please sign up at GalaxyCon.com. And I think we have time for one or two more. So, Jude, what's next? From Diana. Are you a collector? And if so, what do you collect?
This is a perfectly timed question because here at my house, we're in the process of redecorating and reorganizing a couple rooms, and I'm forced to be face to face with so many of my collections. I am a collector, and I don't even know how to categorize what I collect. I love it, all things vintage. I love vintage tools. I love vintage signs. I love flea markets are my thing.
So,
I love just
you could open up a Cracker Barrel.
Well, actually,
with the decor.
That's accurate. And as I look out to my driveway, I have 3 wagons sitting in them right now. And I'm not talking about little red wagons. I'm talking about full-on Western 1800s wagons. So
wow.
Basically, I'm saying I have a problem and I need help. I have a collector's problem and I need help. I collect Mickey stuff too. I collect any type of art. So yeah, it's nonstop.
Right on. Ashley?
I collect Alice in Wonderland stuff. Bret knows my husband is so kind to let me basically decorate our entire house dedicated to Alice in Wonderland. So I do have quite the obsession with all things Alice and have been collecting for years. I have a mini Star Wars collection. Pretty much it's just I collect Ahsoka stuff. So I have almost one of everything that has ever been made of hers, even though I can't keep up with all the new stuff now. So I'm a little behind, but Alice is definitely my main collection.
I do have to add on to this. Sorry, I forgot my Star Wars collection that I started at a very young age. And when Power of the Force toys came out in the 90s, I was obsessed. I was calling Toys R Us and Target and a store called Fedco here in Southern California. I'd be like, did you get the new shipment? Do you have the snow speeder? How many stormtroopers do you have? Could you put them on hold, please? I need a TIE fighter pilot. So I have way too big of an Imperial army that I don't even want to admit to.
Was that first wave when they were all ridiculous?
Oh yeah, whenever it was like He-Man molds.
Yeah, and it was
yeah. I know, but I was so desperate. See, my uncle, growing up, my uncle had all the original stuff, and another uncle actually gave me some of like a New Hope series toys, and I had those growing up, but then they got sold or I don't know what. So I was so desperate for it. When they came out, I was like, I will overlook these weird sculpts just to get my hands on a collection. So yeah, I have a lot of buff. But then I collected when they finally started doing better sculpts as well. So
let me ask this much: with your respective collections, the Alice in Wonderland stuff or the old-fashioned tools or sundries, what's the pride of those collections for you? What's the one piece that you're like, this is the showpiece?
Well, for me, a good friend of mine, actually two good friends of mine, gave me a first edition copy of Alice in Wonderland.
Wow.
So that is pretty special to me and blew me away that they would gift me with such an amazing piece.
Wow.
Again, I told you, Patty, I'm bad with the whole favorites thing.
Yeah.
Which maybe would make me a good parent because I wouldn't have a favorite. But anyway,
well, you just got engaged, so we'll let Nathan take its course.
let's just go through. Anyway, so did my mom put you up to that?
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
Yeah. So I always say, let's see, go back to the collecting thing. I have so many things. So for me, it's all about the story. Like I love anything with a good story. I have a few things that are like tied to national parks or tied to a maker who did something. But I will say the one thing in the house that I say I could give it up, all of it. If we had to leave in a hurry, the one thing I would grab is I do have an original silkscreen Haunted Mansion poster that hung at the front of Disneyland in the 60s, and it's framed. And so and it's one of the big ones. It's not the reproductions. And so I think that's the one thing that
the Hitchhiking Ghosts.
The Hitchhiking Ghosts, yeah. So nice. If I had to leave in a hurry, I would grab that. It'd be an awkward run because you're doing this, but I would take it.
Outstanding. That's
my.
That would be a good choice. Diana, that was a great question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with these Disney and Star Wars paragons. Friends, it was so wonderful. Any final words for our audience before we leave tonight?
Again, I just want to thank everyone. You know, I feel like 2020 has actually brought us all closer together because we've all been stuck at home and really connecting through social media. It really is our means of connecting. And I just, like I said, I haven't been able to get back to everyone, but I want everyone to know I'm reading all of the comments, and I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful of the amazing community that we have online, and just want to thank everyone for their support.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that too. I mean, it's one of the things we'll talk about when we finally get back on the road with our Voice Your Dreams is, you know, at a very young age, the quick story is I wrote a letter to the Disney Studios asking for a job, and I was, I think, 7. And I got a response, and it wasn't just a quick response. It was back in the time of snail mail, and I got a multi-page response from somebody who took the time to encourage me. And you know, like Ashley said, the fans make such a difference. You know, they kind of just remind us of where we came from and why we do what we do and why it's so important to us to preserve these characters. Even if we're playing just a small part on the blip of this character's story and radar, you know, it's such an honor, and the fans are a great reminder of that. So yeah, thanks to everyone who just keeps encouraging us.
Ashley and Bret, as always, it's my absolute pleasure to serve you both. Once again, thank you for joining us here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thank you for all your great questions. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.